I mean, that's something that, like,
And
Kevin
even
Smith
movies
talks
that
about in his movie Dogma.
even movies that aren't like that. Like, let's take a completely a popular movie like Forrest Gump. That's another one. It's about nothing in the end.
Is it?
Yeah.
I feel like Forrest Gump is the most roundabout coming of age story.
Yeah.
I feel like it's not a movie about nothing, because it is about something. It's about a man finding his home and family.
He never lost his home.
He didn't.
Family.
But he also never really had a home to begin with.
His home was just Alabama. He didn't.
Yeah.
So
he left.
He never lost Greenbow. You know.
No, but he left.
I mean, he joined the army.
He also ran across the country. He moved to Louisiana to start a bubblegum trim.
That's the whole thing. Everything he did for essentially no reason.
Yeah.
And it just covers a bunch of history that happened.
Is that not a Jesus-based figure?
The only one.
It has to be.
The only character who really had any development in the whole story was Jenny.
Yeah.
And I hate her. I mean, no offense, but I'm glad she came around.
She's a flawed character, but who isn't?
I mean, she's the most human character
abused.
in that film.
Exactly.
She was abused when she was young.
She's so human that people hate her. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah. She's the only human character in that whole film.
Or maybe it's because they feel sorry that
actually
he got done away by her, and then
I'm gonna back over that, Kristen. You're missing a character who had a huge arc, who had the biggest character arc of the film.
Lieutenant Dan?
yes.
Hell yeah.
Gary
You're right.
Sinise.
You're right. I missed that.
He had a huge character arc. And it doesn't seem like a big one, but it showed a man who had everything, who was pulled away from everything, lost everything, was willing to give himself up, and then was forced to continue forward.
And that's brutal.
You got a point. No, you're right.
And, like, if you think about it, he, like, really, in Forrest Gump isn't the main character. He's the narrator.
Exactly. That's the thing.
Jenny
He's just
and
floating.
Dan.
He's a visitor in everybody else's story in this film, but he's the title character.
But
But
he's
there's
the
nothing to
narrator.
it.
And he's a flawed narrator at that.
Exactly. He
With
has
the innocence about him.
That's why that
that's
movie's
the
so
problem.
good.
his innocence is his flaw.
Yeah.
I know, but people love that.
I mean,
That's because people
that's
want to
just
hope
their
the best
opinion
for
or
people.
whatever.
When in actuality, the worst is the truth. People don't
So
like
you
to deal
believe
with the
fully
worst.
in Murphy's Law?
In Murphy's Law? Absolutely.
Well, I mean, I'm
What
a
can go wrong
pessimist
will go
myself.
wrong. So plan ahead.
But, I mean, I'm a pessimist, but I hold out some sort of optimism.
I'm not a
as the film
pessimist, I'm
goes
a
on.
nihilist.
I mean, that's the whole point of the whole floating feather bullshit in the beginning. That's just Forrest, just like
Yeah.
flying around while everything happens around him, and he's just like, oh, okay.
Yeah. That's also the analogy with the box of chocolates. You know? Oh, I got nougat this time. Oh, I got mint. Oh, this one's cherry. Oh, this time I'm with Jenny. And she's joining up with the NAACP. Oh, this time I'm with Lieutenant Dan because he's trying to kill himself outside a strip club. I don't know why those girls are naked. I'm not going to question it.
I mean, I didn't read the book. I don't know if it's really any different, but like in the end, it's like, okay. So he never really learns anything, and he ends up with a son.
That, although there are
Well,
people that wonder if it may or may not be his.
It is his.
It's supposed to be his, I believe.
It is actually his. But here's the thing. comparative to the book, it's so much more tragic coming from the book. Oh, and like, to be fair, the movie does do a lot of good justice. Lots of good justice. Holy shit. But the thing is, the big thing, is that
You can
he
spoil
does
it. I'm
learn
probably
something.
not going to read it.
He does
Yeah,
learn
do it.
something at the end. He learns... Because, I mean, they don't really touch on the fact that, like, yes, his mom loved him, but, like, he was slow, so he didn't really have a comprehension of what it meant to care for someone. And that is the end-all at the end of the story. He tried his best to care for Jenny, but every time he would try to care for her, she would run the opposite direction and fuck herself over.
I felt like Forrest love-bombed her too much.
That was this. Yeah, that's pretty much what happened. And he did the same thing with Lieutenant Dan. If you watch, he forced
that was my
his
argument
attention
on
into
Jenny's
it.
behalf, because everybody hates Jenny because she keeps leaving him, and I'm like, y'all don't fucking understand what she went through and how it's like.
Well, looking through it, yeah.
To love and trust somebody enough to love in a healthy manner. But he didn't understand that. All he understood was that he loved her. And that basically was all he
Yeah, but Lieutenant Dan, he
Lieutenant Dan
was
hated.
redeemed.
Lieutenant Dan hated Forrest. Hated. Above all and anyone else on the planet, because Forrest saved his life on the battlefield.
Yeah, he wanted to die.
He wanted to die because all of his family members that fought in any American war died on the battlefield of those American wars. And because Forrest saved his life, there was no one he resented more on the planet. But at the end, there was no one he cared for more.
Mm-hmm.
That is the biggest chunk of that story arc, because what that part of that story arc is telling Forrest, and what teaches Forrest, is what it means to truly love someone properly.
It's interesting that, like,
It's an agape kind of
while
love.
Yeah.
in the hospital, yeah, Lieutenant Dan absolutely loathed him. And then when they met up in the city, he didn't...
Was the only person who was willing to be there.
Right. And then... But, I mean, like, even then, he still had somewhat of respect for him. Because, like, when that girl calls him stupid, he flips the fuck out. It's like, don't fucking call him stupid. You know?
Man's a war hero. Don't you dare disrespect him. Mm-hmm. It's a really hard scene to watch when you look at it from that context. Because you're like, holy shit.
Yeah, it's brutal to see the whole thing.
You know, and like, a lot of people don't think about Lieutenant Dan throughout that film series. Like, or not film series, but throughout that sequence in the film. He has one of the most disgustingly tragic arcs. And he's so glossed over at the same time.
But he comes out of it, though.
Well, he
Does
got
he
lucky.
not?
Him and Forrest got lucky. That's when it came to the shrimp thing.
Well, then they got... There's a
And
there's a
Bubba didn't
redemption
make it.
there.
What?
Bubba didn't make it.
No. Bubba was not lucky.
So, you know, there's
His family
a
was.
very somber tone throughout that for a very good reason. And it is captured very well in the cinema.
But you have to respect that he gave Bubba's family a share.
Yeah.
Oh,
Even
yeah.
Still to the end.
I mean, that's one thing I will say for Forrest, is that his innocence does cause him to do what he feels is right no matter what. Even if the
Though
thing
a
that he feels
fault,
is
it is
sometimes-
still an attribute.
right. But when it came to Jenny, it was a fault. When it came to some other things, it was right. And that's why it's an interesting character. What's the opposite of...
Okay, you know...
It's
there's-
almost an anti-story. It's almost an antithesis.
Oh! I was going to say the one movie... There's one movie that... Okay, who remembers Signs?
I actually didn't watch it.
bits and pieces, but yeah.
Oh my gosh. The whole thing is, like, you know that those people, that family, is by themselves, surrounded by a crop field.
That's the whole point.
Yeah, but it's also a spiritual journey. Because...
Is it?
Yes. Okay, so the aliens in the film itself are... It depends on how you look at it. Some people say that they're angels. Some people say that they're demons.
And that's what's
really
brilliant
boils-
about M. Night.
Either way, it's right. That's the beautiful thing. I absolutely agree.
Oh,
Because
yeah,
that is the
that's
thing.
like
Either
couple
way,
of-
you're right.
He goes
And-
deep.
Yeah, and like the core comes down to the fact that they have an aversion to what is the most holy to humans, water. That above and all else, they have a huge aversion to water.
Because it's often used for baptism.
Mm-hmm.
And of
It can be
course,
blessed.
the father of the father and widower
like
lost
a
his
whole thing.
faith after his wife died in a bad accident, and he
Isn't that Mel
quit.
Gibson? M. Night
Yes,
Shyamalan
Mel
and
Gib-
Mel Gibson.
Yes, that was Mel Gibson.
Really good film. But yes,
Yeah, we have
heavy
it.
Christian overtones throughout.
With
Well, Mel
in it,
Gibson
I'm not
himself
surprised.
is,
Huh?
but it wouldn't
Kristen?
shock me.
What, Kristen?
I said with Mel Gibson in it, I'm not surprised.
Oh, yeah, no.
Oh, good. Good. Free Mel Gibson, by the way.
It is definitely an interesting film. It's one of the better of M. Night Shyamalan, I would say.
That one and Devil, that's the one my mom liked.
The Devil
I
was
like-
garbage.
From M. Night Shyamalan,
Well-
I've gotta say Switch. My favorite.
Switch is good. That whole series.
That
It's
whole
good.
series, Unbreakable, Switch, and what's
And
the
Glass.
third one called?
Glass.
Glass. Glass, that's it, yeah.
All three of them are phenomenal.
I mean, Glass, I could live without, but the other two,
I'm
I-
content with it.
Hmm?
I'm content with it because...
For me, it was Signs because
It
it
wasn't
scared
bad.
me as a kid
No,
in a
it gives
profound
closure
way.
to the whole
You have
series.
to give it up for McAvoy's performance, of course.
Oh, absolutely. But my whole point
Right.
is that it just...
But that's really the only thing that makes
Yeah.
it that good.
It closes it all up. You know, we know what happens to everyone
But I
at the
kind of
end.
like open-ended things. I don't think you always have to sew it shut.
Oh
I do
man,
too.
you know what?
agree.
I'm trying to
But
think
M. Night
about.
Shyamalan's kind of dumb sometimes. Look at Lady in the Water.
Didn't see it.
Look at The Village.
Didn't see it.
Oh yeah, the Village was stupid. My mom said
The
it was
Village
stupid.
is so
I
bad.
have very limited taste for M. Night Shyamalan, but
He lost me at The Village.
Yeah, and that was
Alright.
2004, and then he went down. Then The Happening is, it
Trash.
was kind of
The
My mom
Happening
thought it
is
was
the worst movie that has ever
like
come out in
trees.
the major
Trees
media.
are killing people.
It's not trees.
haven't you ever seen Evil Dead? They do.
I would
worse
say
things.
this is worse. Okay, hold on. Kristen,
What?
the enemy in The Happening is all plants. And here's how they kill you.
plants.
Here's how they kill you. If you're negative.
Nice.
If you have a negative mindset, they force you to kill yourself.
They're like
Yeah,
the
but
emo
what's
plants
the-
from South Park.
Okay,
There is
what?
literally a scene with, what's his name, Marky Mark?
Mark Wahlberg.
Arguing with a fern.
Is that
I
what
never
South
saw
Park
it,
does
so
now?
I don't
Okay.
know about the
Yeah.
movie. But
Let me
What's
tell you
the
that's what
analysis
it's
about
It
that?
is the most gratuitous and disgusting display of, like, pushing a green agenda I've ever seen in films.
okay, that's
It's-
why.
That's disappointing.
It is an anti-pollution film at the end, then at its core.
Although plants themselves can have purifying properties because they can absorb certain pollutants.
Oh yeah.
The international symbol for nuclear disarmament is the sunflower because it naturally can absorb radiation above ultraviolet level. Pretty cool stuff. Because anything above ultraviolet will give you cancer. Anything below infrared ain't gonna do shit. So if anyone tells you 5G is gonna give you brain cancer, tell them to suck a dick, because microwave is below infrared.
Yeah, that's actually overblown, and but now the phones that we have in our pockets a lot, if you do have them in pockets, those can lead to way more localized damage over time. That is true. But as far as the 5G and stuff, that's overblown. Although the surveillance issue is there.
Oh,
Health.
yeah.
Well, that's the thing. A lot of information that people get from us is volunteer. People overlook that.
I know, but then there's the issue of the false choice, or what if it gets to where they will require
Do you have
you
a
to
credit
start?
card?
What?
Do you have a credit card?
Are you asking me?
I'm asking anyone.
Oh yeah.
I have a
Well, no,
debit card, and I rarely use it.
Guess what?
they can
Your
track-
number has already been stolen.
Yeah.
It's already been used, and they've already reimbursed you, because it's cheaper to do that than to go after the actual hacker.
Oh no, there are whole websites where you can
Yeah,
go
but I've
and buy-
only
and
used
you
it
can,
like
buy
maybe
a credit
four
card
times in my life. I rarely use it. I usually
Doesn't
go
matter.
cash. I go cash.
Doesn't matter. You use it once.
Market database.
Use it once. It's gone.
Yeah.
We're gonna put that into a Roth IRA and put that up with the joint and then fix it up with the hedge fund, and then we're gonna put it up with GameStop, and it's gone.
Unit 180.
That's funny. Mine actually got my
Unit.
credit card number actually did get stolen from a GameStop.
Unit
Yeah, really?
8200
That's
is
fucking
behind
dumb.
that. Unit 8200 in Israel is behind that.
Oh really? I thought it was QAnon.
That's like a psyop crap. It's just a way to.
You sure it's not deep state?
It's a plant
Oh, it's
by
deep
deep
fake.
state. It's a way to lure people into these little cliques online, and they won't do anything and focus on the real issues and actually have dialogue.
ClickbaitRealestate.com, let's go.
Well, Brendan O'Connell has talked about this stuff, and it's opened my mind, and it's broken my view of the Hegelian dialectic to see when you start taking party out of the view, it starts making sense.
When you
Huh?
take emotion out of your view, the world makes sense.
Well, he's talking about for the U.S. And
you take
emotion-
emotion out of your view on everything.
Well, that and talking to
world
people
begins
like
to
they're
make a lot more
adults
sense.
and being reasonable and
It has
not
nothing
shouting
to
over
do with
people.
Hegelian view. It's just fucking incredible. I have not had that come up on my stream yet. That makes me super happy.
Well, that's why animals are so much better off.
Yeah, honestly.
I'm not gonna lie, God
I
made
know I'm
animals
racist. The
way
squirrel's
better
way
off.
better off than me.
What?
I know I'm racist. Because a squirrel is way better off than me.
I'm not gonna lie.
I
God
am
gave-
part of that.
God
I'm a
gave
member of the
animals
human race. The squirrel is a member of the rodent race. See where I'm going with that?
Yeah.
Real race down to like special race.
Don't be
Yeah.
speciesist.
This is a joke.
I know.
You should-
I don't want to be a
I
gorilla. I'd rather be a
video
squirrel.
Where a guy talks about being speciesist.
Or something as
I
innocent
am
as a
species
rabbit.
list.
A rabbit.
I know I'm better than a cow. Because I'm not
we're
dumb
all
enough to just
speciesist
walk to
because
my death.
We all knowingly benefit off the backs of other species.
Oh yeah, all the time.
We're all speciesist.
Yeah.
You live in a house
Fun thing is,
or
In the
any
United
indoor
States?
building.
here in the United States, we actually have a really big problem with jingoism and nationalism.
Well,
But we have
jingoism
an
is
even bigger problem with statist. Statist
Statist.
mindset.
as in.
Isn't that the most
Statist is
silly thing?
hyper-nationalism, where you give a religious quality to your state,
That is a
national,
fault.
or federal government.
Even Alexis de Tocqueville said that yes, we were exceptional for a time, but we can lose that. And
The
of course,
fact
he
that people
gave a
give
Christian
the
view
government
of
some
it.
omniscient, overpowered, like, feeling and gratitude to
And
the
then
government.
when you add the Christian Zionism element to it, that makes it more toxic.
We just need to remove Christians from the element.
Well,
Just get rid of
Zionism
it as
is
an
a
element
problem
altogether.
because it's actually bothered
Feed
other
them to the
countries.
lions. Turn them into candles.
Well, that might happen to them when the UN.
What used to happen?
Well, not this Christian. I'm not a Zionist anymore.
No, that's what happened. That's what happened to Catholics in Rome. They would dip them in tar, dip them head first, all the way down to their knuckles of their feet, in tar, with a wick that went down from the top of their head all the way down to their foot, and they would burn the wick, and as that would melt, it would slowly melt the person as well, who was already dead by that point. They suffocated with fucking horrible goddamn tar being the last 45 seconds of their miserable existence.
That must have smelled delicious.
Oh, God.
Well,
Ugh.
what about the brazen bull?
Oh, the Brazen Bull? That's another fun one.
That was
Yeah.
awful.
Yeah.
Horrible way to
Then you
die.
consider that the record that is known in history with the Brazen Bull, we have no idea how many times it was used, but we know that one time someone put 10 people in one. You know what the worst part of it all is? You know what people would describe the smell as?
What?
Like barbecue.
Damn.
Well,
They
I've
said
heard
it smelled
that.
like suckling pig.
I've heard that people taste like pork.
Yeah,
I
we're
have
called
heard
long
that.
pork. Cannibalistic tribes in the South Pacific refer to us as long pork or long pig. Because we are similar to pork in consistency. We are
Although
mostly
they don't,
white meat.
although swine don't sweat,
We do have that difference. Yes.
but they are used in forensic studies.
That's the other thing too, though. Humans actually taste really good, apparently, but it depends on the person.
Especially
They-
if they're druggies or not, and what they put in themselves. Yeah, I know. Well,
What
I saw
we
it on the
have
Criminal
found out
Minds episode.
scientifically is it does come down to nationality due to national diets. And apparently,
Well, I saw it on an episode of Criminal Minds where the serial killer said that the druggies tasted weird, and I was like, I'm sure they would.
I read a transcript from an actual, like, art anthropologist who was discussing it with a cannibal tribe from South America. And they actually remarked that Americans are the worst tasting humans on the planet.
Oh yeah, of course.
What about
Because
me?
of our high fatty diets.
Maybe not
our-
me. I probably taste good.
Doesn't matter. Do you eat
Oh,
a lot
dang
of
it.
fish?
I enjoy.
Do you eat
For
a
me,
lot of
it's-
fish? Do you eat a high sodium diet with a lot of grain and a lot of like carbonized sugar like
I was
you
gonna
would
say,
get from rice?
I would think it would be all the yeast we consume that would cause us to taste really bad.
Bingo!
But yeast,
That's what fucks us up.
but stuff that consists of yeast is delicious.
Well,
Yep,
it's
yeast
it's
and
delicious
corn.
when we eat it, but it makes
Yeast
your
and
body
corn.
fucking disgusting.
Yeast and corn is what kills it for us here in America. The best humans on the planet to eat are from Japan.
Isn't
Well, they
corn
are
and
healthier.
meat basically all the chickens eat?
The reason why Japanese people apparently taste better is because of their high protein fish diet.
Wait, how do
The
you
omega
explain- how do you
3s that we
explain
get from the
chicken then?
fish.
Well, because they also eat a lot of chicken too. It's very similar. It's a very similar consistency.
No, I'm talking about chickens. They eat mostly corn and soy.
Yeah, but that's what their diet is supposed to be.
Yeah,
That's
And then
not
occasional-
supposed to be in our
and then
diet. That's why
occasionally
it doesn't
some rock.
digest right.
and occasionally some pebbles get in there, but that's taken care
Well,
of in
no,
the...
it's not so much the fact that we're not supposed to eat yeast or wheat. It's the fact that it's the way that it's treated that causes us to have dietary problems.
Yep. So
I
Because
take a
it's
probiotic.
stripped down of all its nutritional value and then what's the word I'm looking for? Re-nutriented? Whatever the word
well,
is.
you've also got like the fact that gluten operates differently from species to species.
The gluten that
And
we
the
have
fact that we
today is
actually pull
hybridized wheat, and it's different from the wheat that we had years ago, from
Well,
what I've
again,
heard.
That's a matter of how it's treated. It's not just the gluten
That's
itself. Gluten's
well,
just
yeah,
protein.
exactly. So when you're feeding a chicken, you're feeding it basically the shellings and shit that you wouldn't feed yourself because you wouldn't treat it to feed yourself. Or like, if you're actually raising chickens correctly,
Yeah, we have
you're
chickens.
growing corn yourself and shearing the actual corn ears themselves for that chicken, because that'll provide a better meat, a healthier chicken, a happier chicken, and a bigger chicken. So that's the other thing too, is the fact that like when you're thinking about mass production chickens like that, like we're eating the men.
We actually have chickens on our
You
property.
eat the men.
Most of the chickens that people eat are fed largely soy with hormones.
Because it makes them bigger.
Bigger.
Yes.
Yeah. And when you go and you get like an organic or free range that's properly raised, yes, they are even big. Absolutely. Who would like to drop?
I don't want to drop, although I need to. Although I have one question.
What?
Do you have the song Sexual Hallucination by In This Moment?
Not on it, but I can definitely get it.
Naughty.
For some reason, it makes me cry.
Well, then I'm not going to put it on.
Okay,
I'm
don't.
going to drop you, though. I'm going to grab our test.
But
Art is up. So,
no, it's
when you get a free range